Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We've had some difficulties on our station, so we certainly had some difficulties, and we want to be sure to get the right information out. And it seems that the enemy is working against us. So I had to connect to my phone system. So now I've got to go back in and correct the information that you all have. But you should have the same information, which is no more Negro stuff. Should have that. That's what the system destroyed that we were trying to put out. But you should have that. No more Negro stuff. But of course, our discussion is something totally different. So we got into a crosshair. And I know it was a work of the enemy. There's no way. There's no way at all. So what we should have been talking about, we haven't. We can't talk about what it's going to be to talk about Puffy tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to go on, talk about no more Negro stuff, the assassination of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And let's talk about Dr. Khalid. Let's talk about the part that Farrakhan played. Right? Because this happened in stages where they were trying to kill him. You can never count out Farrakhan. I know that right now, brothers, they don't like when you talk about Farrakhan. Some of them are not even Muslim, but they just don't like, they bought into what he does. They bought into this unity jive that he speaks. But every time you turn around, it's with the enemy. You should be old enough to know who the enemy is. If you don't know it, I won't tell you. If you don't know it, I won't tell you. And, but we need to be discussing this tonight because your and my life is in danger. And when Farrakhan dies, they'll have another Judas to replace him. But it certainly won't be anybody that we can trust. We couldn't trust Farrakhan. So what makes you think that we'll be able to trust anyone else? So we have to be wise. We've got to be wise. We've got to be wise. We've got to talk about what we're facing today and who we're facing today. We have to be wise. We don't need any more fools. We got enough fools around here sagging their pants and showing their underwear. I mean, Negroes are literally showing their ass. Showing their ass. So we don't need that. We need brothers that are committed, that can be real men. That's our desire and our prayers, that we can have real men in our neighborhoods, in our churches. We need God's people to be busy, brothers and sisters, doing the right thing. We need that. We ask you to support our program. Support it. Support our program as it does something to help our community. You spend enough time buying the white man's tennis shoes and everything else. I don't even know if they say tennis shoes anymore. Sneakers and everything else. And you wasting your time not promoting anything in your community. So we've got to get busy. We got to be steadfast. We have to be unmovable, and we have to always be abounding in the work of God. We have our manual, right? The message to the black man is the manual. We also have that's our social manual, message to the black man. I should say that. We also have the Bible that the devil has compromised. The devil has compromised the Bible that he wanted us to have, right? Put before us the people that he wanted to distribute that Bible. Not only that, but he did it on the talk shows too, and did it on the syndicated television shows. Is that right or wrong? Right? Because he needed to manipulate our feelings, our thinking. Say, for instance, James from Good Times was married to someone who wasn't black. I started to say it. You know I wanted to, but I didn't. You should applaud me. But she wasn't black. She wasn't anyone that will come through the loin of a black woman directly. Because we know there's no such thing as white, but I'm just saying. So he married a person that had no familiarity with his culture and produced children that were hybrid in nature, had no connection with their past, no connection to who they are. James, right from Good Times, the one you looked at when you were trying to get a sense of strength of a black man. And on the show, this is something planted in the minds of us, and we all love Good Times. But on the show, James could never get a break, even when he went away to a good job. The fact that he went away to a good job, then he died. Right? The black man has to die before he can get out of the situation that he's in. Right? And those shows were bold because the white man was snubbing you in your face. He was letting you know. Boy, he let you know. That's what he calls you. He calls you boy. You know what else he calls you? You know what else he calls you? He said, you'll never make it on this plantation. Not alive. You're a strong black man. Right? And back in the day, the black woman would stand beside you. Today, they got the system. And these systems today have taught the black woman how to stand against her man. Right? And that means that you get him out of the home. You get him out of the home, then they talk about the children. Right? Let's talk about the children. When we get them out of the home, then the children go wild. Right? It's the same generation. Same generation. These children go wild. And each generation, the sin of that generation falls to the next, to the next, to the next. And we got to understand that. We have to understand that. So I want to apologize for the mix up in show. But don't worry, don't go anywhere, because at 11:45, we're going to cover the actual show that we were going to do. We're going to cover that. Because I believe that many of you are distracted by this puffy issue. You're distracted by it. You're literally distracted by this puffy issue. Right? And you're ready for juicy gossip, but you don't want to discuss what, how distracted that gossip, should almost say God spell, gossip is, and how much it detracts from you having a world picture of what's going on, a bird's eye view of what's going on. Because you got to have a bird's eye view of what's going on. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. You got to have a bird's eye view of what's going on. You don't know what's going on yet. Because you're distracted. You're easily distracted. You don't know what's going on. You have no idea. Because you're easily distracted. It's time to wake up, brothers and sisters. Are you ready to wake up? That's all I want to know. Are you ready to wake up? You spend too much time. Because you do. You do. You spend too much time being trapped and locked into this game that the white man himself has put you in. And we don't have the luxury nor the time. We cannot afford. We cannot afford. Even if we had all the money in the world, the time has come when we cannot afford to miss one jot or one tittle of what God is telling us, what God is showing us. You and I. We've got to be steadfast. We've got to be unmovable. We got to always be abounding in the work of God. What is the work of God, brothers and sisters? That we will save the lost. It's simple. Just save the lost. That's all we got to do. Save your loss. Now we know what we have to do, but will you do it? We save the loss. Are you too selfish to save the loss? Are you too selfish for that? We know what we have to do, right? Our children are lost. Our parents are lost. Grandparents are lost. It's true. A lot of them did the best they knew how, right? But we learn better, we do better, right or wrong, brothers and sisters. When we learn better, we do better. Now, we have to understand, because you got to understand it, that whatever the white man put in front of you is not real news. It's just to trap you, right? To coin the phrase fake news, just like Donald Trump says. It's just news to trap you. That's all it is. And there's no sense of you running around here getting mad about Diddy because he don't give a damn about you. He doesn't. So there's no sense in you running around here getting mad about what's going on with Diddy, who was a government agent. I said, who is a government agent, right? That was sent out here to distract you. Something is coming down the pipeline, and America is losing her power of currency. Right now, she's deciding whether she's going to stick with the current currency or have another. You need to know that. Isn't it possible, brothers and sisters? All I'm asking you is the possibility. Isn't it possible that maybe America want to keep you distracted on the inside of the country so you won't know what's going on the outside of the country? That's why I tell you, don't be distracted by Diddy, right? The investigation of a murderous government agent. Don't be distracted, because he's not with us anyway. Diddy's not with us. He doesn't care anything about you. We'll give you rat tails about you. He's not going to lose any money. He's not going to give any money until they drag it out of him. And proof of which, that's why Cassie had to come out kicking and screaming. And I don't buy for 1 minute that she's innocent, because you know that all of them know with being with Diddy that they had a job to do. Come on, brothers and sisters. Jennifer Lopez, one of the biggest whores in entertainment and acting, Cassie right behind her. She's not innocent. She's devilish and demonic. Sleeping around well before they met Diddy, because they were climbing their way to the top through the seat of their pants. You and I both know it. But you're so easily distracted. Huh? They knew Diddy was digging in these boys. What parents would allow their children, and this is to Usher and Justin Bieber, to go with a man that they knew beyond a doubt was filthy and practicing what is an abomination unto God by having sex with men? You got to wake up, brothers and sisters. See, you get upset about the wrong thing. You get upset about the wrong thing. You should be upset about what's happening within your community, but you won't do that. You won't do it. And I'll tell you why. I know why you won't do it. Because you couldn't give two rat tails about what's happening in your community. You couldn't care. You're busy trying to make some dollar. Yeah, you wouldn't care about what happened in your community. Man is killing you all the day long. The man is killing you. Everywhere you turn, he's killing you. You still don't have enough sense to investigate his game. I mean, he's killing you everywhere. You don't have enough sense to investigate his game. That is surprising to me. That's what troubles me, is the fact that the white man can do anything to you, literally, as long as he pay you. In what country, and we have to, I just want to ask you this, and then we're going to go on with our show, because I have to ask. I got to ask. What country would glamorize mothers of kids that have been killed. And here's the funny thing. The American dollar isn't worth anything. And they'll pay them millions of dollars, which they know isn't worth thousands of dollars. And they'll set them up on the pedestal. Who are you? How are you known? Oh, well, the police shot my child. And the government gave me the money because they shot my child. That's who I am. I'm like, my God. As long as they give you money, they can do anything they want to do to you. I'm just telling you how you are. I got to tell you, because you won't stand for nothing. You won't stand for nothing. I mean, and it's the one that's supposed to be conscious, that will do the most evil and manipulate, using the web to help them do it. You're supposed to be conscious. Take time out and repent for anybody that you've offended. Repent to God for doing evil. Make peace, brothers and sisters, so we can continue to go forward. We have to do that. Our children need us. Is that right or wrong? They need us. The adults of our society need us, but we have to be committed to doing right. Have to be. If you, it's the person that works to make everybody believe that they're innocent. These are the people that eventually self-destruct, and people will know you for who you are. It never fails. That was designed by God. Now, God can forgive you and deliver you if you repent. And when and where you repent is up to you. But if you've offended somebody, you need to go to them and make peace. God is not mocked. Whatsoever of man or woman or child, so they shall also reap. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. So it's time out. The games and being the devil's tool is time out. We can't do it anymore. We got to stand up for what's right, and we have to do what's right. Because when we're not standing in the holy place, then the devil can use you to do evil. He can use you to do evil. You got to stand for what's right, brothers and sisters. You got to stand for what's right, and you have to do right. How do you expect your children to be obedient when you're living a double life in front of them, a hypocritical life, and they see it? And they see it. How do you expect brothers and sisters that are looking at you to fully respect you when they see you talking out both sides of your neck and not living a life? It'll never happen. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. So it doesn't mean that you're perfect. And I want to dispel that myth, because that's not perfection. But righteousness means having the desire and will to do right, having the ability, right? Strong desire, the ability to exercise the power to make a right decision, opposed to choosing something that is detrimental to you and those that are around you. So we cannot be complicit with evil. We can't be complicit with anything criminal or demonic or anything anti-spiritual. We've got to follow God. We got to follow God. It's the only direction that we have. We've got to follow God in one way or another. One way or another. And that takes time. Takes time. But we have to be an example and ensample. What does it mean? Example, what people can see us from without. Ensample, what we know is happening from within ourselves and within other people. So religion won't save us. We've got to be righteous. But religion won't save us. Now, to our subject, no more Negro stuff. We got to talk about Khalid Abdul-Muhammad. We must discuss this brother because he had the answers of deliverance, but we had Judases to kill him. I'm sure you would agree. But let's talk about this young brother. This brother, this black, handsome black man, brother, loved us so that when he woke up to give the white man hell from the cradle to the grave. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, likened unto Minister Malcolm X, for us in our community, had the same problem with the same individual that Minister Malcolm had with. Farrakhan was jealous of Malcolm. He was jealous of Khalid because he's who the white man has put in front of you. But he wasn't called by God, nor was he appointed by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was placed there by the white man. And there are brothers that'll get mad and all of that. But don't defend Farrakhan. You don't have to judge a tree. Huh? Because that tree will be known by the fruit that it bears. Is that right or wrong? So you'll never have to judge a tree. You'll never see a tomato plant issue an orange. You'll never see a lemon tree issue a grape. It just won't happen. Right? It just won't happen. You see a lemon and taste it, you already know it's sour. Right? And many people call certain things lemons. We know what it means. That it's a sour experience. Right? You call a car a lemon, that car is sour. It's a sour experience because you drove it off the lot, it drove real good, got it off the lot, went down the street, then the car broke down. You call it a lemon. They even have lemon laws. We need to have lemon laws in religion. So when we see people that are lemons, spew them out. Shun them. Right? Farrakhan is not beyond reproach, brothers and sisters. I keep telling you this. I know what God has shown me. I'll stand on that. That Farrakhan was sent in by the white man and sent in by demons, devils, and the satanic force to blind black people and to take us all the way back. Where we have made no gains. He has opened no business. He doesn't have a federal credit union for black people or anything like that. The man has harmed money for himself. He's put away money for himself and his family. That is it. So for him, he's an example of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Malcolm were trying to get rid of, money changers and lovers of money inside of the Nation of Islam. And that's why I say that Farrakhan Nation of Islam does not teach what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches. Said teaches because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad still has the Muslim movement. There are still many mosques and temples under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that are still teaching the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They will not be compromised. But the white man, since he sent Farrakhan in front of you, is one of his, so he keeps the camera on him, right? And Farrakhan couldn't go into, and I say it over and over and over again, because I have to say it so you can get it, because there are those that come online that want to defend Farrakhan. I don't hate Farrakhan. I just want him to be real. I just want him to be real. That's all. And I know that he's dying. Right? The least you can do if you're dying is, hell, if you're going to die, the white man can't kill you. Should turn on him for once and tell us what's up. Tell us what's really up so we'll know how to defend ourselves totally against what's coming. And you think Farrakhan, say you have these visions and stuff and he knows something's going to happen. Why, if the white man put him in front of you, the white man would give him the information to keep you duped. Right? And he's duped us, and we've been duping ourselves too. Right? They made Farrakhan the heir apparent, right, to Minister Malcolm and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he teaches whatever he wants, and you never question it. Something's wrong with that. I don't care what leader it is. He has to accept the responsibility of being questioned. I don't care what leader. That shows a sign of security and a sign of due honor to the leader and the people that the leader leads. Now, let's talk about Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Because this brother, this is important. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. We talked about him before. We'll talk about him in depth now because we need to know what kind of man we were dealing with. Farrakhan never really knew what kind of man he was dealing with because he's a sorcerer. He's a charmer. Farrakhan's a sorcerer and a charmer. And he really believed that Dr. Khalid was so devoted to him that he wouldn't question his antics. He didn't know what he was dealing with. Khalid's childhood, his very childhood, commanded that individuals dealing with him would handle him with care and truth. He was sensitive to the truth. He was sensitive to the truth. Farrakhan couldn't go into mainstream media with a Khalid Muhammad. He was getting covered by, he loves the cameras. I mean, absolutely loved the cameras. He's camera drunk. He loved the cameras, telling you what I know. And 1986 was the turn. Because you thought prior to that he was teaching the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was attending Jim Jones conventions and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. Farrakhan has been confused. And we've been following him. I say we because we have to put all of us in it. Following this man and giving him due respect that he's as lost as anybody. Left the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, started teaching L. Ron Hubbard, Dianetics. You hear fools on the web. All you got to do is type it in on YouTube, and you'll hear this fool. She's like, Dianetically speaking. The hell are you talking about? The knowledge of the devil. You can't take new wine and put it in an old bottle, brothers and sisters. It'll bust it. You put new wine in old wine skin, it'll rip it at the seams. You can't do it. You have to have old wine for old bottles. And you got to have new wine for new bottles. You got to understand that. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was the new wine. He was the transition that we would have in a more organized form of nationalism. And he would have been the heir apparent of the truth, of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he realized earlier on that Farrakhan, he knew wasn't nothing to him. I know it because I was in his inner circle. He knew it. He tried to respect Minister Farrakhan. Farrakhan, every which way he turned, he was attacking Khalid, always talking about him in public setting. But let's understand who this man was. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was born Harold Moore Jr., January the 12th, 1948, and he was assassinated successfully on February the 17th, 2001, but technically, or the actual assassination happened on the 18th of February, 2001. He was a black Muslim minister, activist who was a prominent figure in the Nation of Islam before he was denounced by Farrakhan for the speech that he made at King Khalid defending Farrakhan. Though Farrakhan called the media repugnant and not what the Muslims stand for. I mean, these politics, the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, for the muzzle on Khalid, they wanted to silence him. And Farrakhan denounced him in a meeting, a press conference. You have to understand this. I want you to see this. Farrakhan has a press conference denouncing Dr. Khalid. Government infiltration, right, from a government agent. Who is he going to blame now? He can't blame the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I can understand the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he does because he gave a directive. Minister Malcolm was wrong. He made a bad decision. He was in a misstep. He made a misstep because he went against the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have to be mature and say that, no matter how much we love him. But there was confusion was started from the government. But you have the same agitator during the time of Minister Malcolm, Farrakhan, who's older now, still very childish in nature, who is an employee of the federal government, howbeit the contract. And with Khalid Abdul Muhammad within the nation, while Farrakhan is in the head of it, there could be no smooth transition made to get the Nation of Islam more and more and more away from what it was actually intended for. I just want to tell you that. So that was the purpose. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to have to cut it short because I'll be back with you at 11:45. I need to catch up on all of these. We'll do 15 minutes there, and then we should be caught up. Should be somewhat caught up. I think we'll push one of the shows into tomorrow, but after that we should be caught up. But I just wanted to discuss this with you. We've got to stop this action. We got to stop this action of turning on each other for $1 of the white man. Farrakhan was owned by the U.S. government because he was getting money for the Department of Correction, as orchestrated by Bill Clinton. This is a fact. You can pull it up online. His son, Mustafa, another agent, was working for the police department in Harvey, Illinois, lieutenant for the police department. You got to pull this stuff up. Pull this stuff up. But this brother was so motivated, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, that he was going to sell out. And they tried everything toward this brother. He's an example of Jesus, the true example of Jesus, a good example for us to follow in black nationalism. But remember, he kept the key teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So he became a prominent figure in the Nation of Islam, and later the new Black Panther Party after a racially inflammatory 1993 speech at King College. Khalid was condemned and removed from his position in the Nation of Islam by Minister Louis Farrakhan. He was also censored by both the House of United States Congress, right? So this is the House of Senate and Representatives. After being removed from the Nation of Islam, he served as national chairman of the new Black Panther Party until his death in 2001 from a brain aneurysm. Doing that, you had the girl who was president, Amy Ambush, another government agent, who poisoned him, the final poisoning in Marietta, Georgia. Prior to that, he was riding south with Hashim Mzinga and Malik Zulu Shabazz, and there was enough poison in his system after he did the last speech in New York and also D.C. To say that he was possibly poisoned on his way there too. And Steve Copley talks about it in depth. We made a tape about it years ago. All you have to do is look up Hannibal and you can find this information. We also believe that Brother Copley was also injected with leukemia. We can't prove it, but we believe he was. All the signs to show that he was. Prior to that, there were no signs to show that he was sick. The brother was well. He was very healthy. We believe Dr. Khalid was poisoned coming out of New York and to D.C. And that began with those brothers that were present. Automatics also had a court at the Slave Theater. You also had a brother named Michael Muhammad, Malik Zulu Shabazz, and Hashim Mzinga. And I'll say it to the day that I'm dead. And I got at least, I'll leave out of here at least 145 years of age. I'll make history, I'm telling you. You won't be there to see it because I'll live you. But we got some demons inside of our camp that are with they're with the mindset of killing us for any price. If you look at Puffy and Jay-Z, they're the same way. DMX is dead. You got to pay attention to stuff. Kim Porter is dead. Dutta Man dead. Black Rob dead. Heavy D dead. All behind Puffy and connected to Jay-Z. You got to open up your mind, open up your head, and see what's going on. Dr. Khalid advocated black independence and stated a personal practice of anti-miscegenation. And these are laws that enforce racial segregation at the level of marriage and intimate relationship by criminalizing interracial marriage. And sometimes they also criminalize sex between members of different races. So I respect that brother because he was about producing for black people. Love for black people. If you mean it, you love black people, then show it. Because for you to get with someone different, whether it be a man or woman, for you to get with someone different is it's a betrayal to your race. You should be trying to produce. You should be trying to produce in this day and time. Brothers and sisters, that's all I have for you. I'm going to come back real quick because we got to try to play catch up. We got to try to play catch up for this last show. So we try to use the last amount of time that we have in order to do that. If I haven't told you in the beginning, I tell you now. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.